Hello, it's Wednesday, so it must be time for Woolly Hats Wednesday Whips, and you join me here in the champagne room with lots of rain on the roof, so I hope it doesn't distract too much. I did think of doing it in another room, but it's not as light there. Anyway, so here we are in May, and lots of things going on. From my finished projects, I'm doing quite a few new ones, but I am finishing off one particular project. So last year, you might remember, I did this sock here, which has got lots of little aran details on. It's a lovely pattern, however it's a 32 row pattern, so it's quite complicated. It's not one of these mindful knits where you can just sit and knit and watch the telly and talk to things. You have to pay attention. Every other row is just knitting and purling, but there is lots of cable on the other rows. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? Shall I rip it out and do something else? I thought, no, I'll do the other sock. So here we go. I've started the other sock, and wish me luck. Now this sock, the pattern came from the knitter. That's what it's going to look like. But the wool I got from one of the shows I went to a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and it's from Qang Fibre, and it's super soft sock, and it is super soft. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be the kind of sock that you need to put on after you've had a hard walk and you've had a shower and your feet need to be nice and soft afterwards. So this is 80% merino, yum, 10% cashmere, yum yum, and a bit of nylon, because a lot of socks have nylon to make sure you've got the strength. So yes, I shall be finishing that off. So I'll do a few lines of that every day so that I can make some progress. So that's my sock of the week. So the other thing that happened was, because we were away at the weekend in Welshpool, and did lots of knitting and walking and chatting and working in the woodland, but also while I was away came the Knitter magazine and the crochet Inside Crochet. So a couple of things that caught my eye this week. One was this. Don't know if you can see that. That's a blanket, and I thought it was quite nice because it uses up the potential for using up lots of bits of wool. So her directions are a selection of 15 to 20 shades of 4-ply or wool blended yarns. So there you go. So I'm sure it would work with double knit. It would make it come out bigger, or even cotton. So that might be one to keep for a project later on. But I've got plenty to do now, as you can imagine. But also, it's rather than granny squares, it's granny hexagons. So there we go. So that's that one. You might remember where is it there? Woo! The seaside blanket there. Sorry for moving you around a bit. The lady who did that, Coastal Crochets, Eleanor, she's still got a new pattern out, and she's knitted one using King Cole yarns, either in cotton or in double knit. So that's available, see it on social media, probably available through King Cole, but you can buy the packs, and she has a week by week range instructions. And it looks quite nice. It's it's squares, but it's squares knitted in rows. So it's not granny squares round, but it's rows. So if you want to practice doing that, that's good. And there's some interesting techniques that she uses there, using waves and all kinds of things. So have a look at that if you want something to do this summer. I don't get any commission, I just fancy looking at it. Anyway, so the other thing that caught my eye, this is from the knitter. I thought that was very cute. So this is by Sara Hatton. She's one of my favourite designers. She does some really nice children's stuff. So it's not too complicated. So if you haven't done many garments, that's quite a nice one to start off with. It's just the details, just a little bit of lace, or making holes, not by accident, and a bit of garter stitch to make the texture. So she uses Cascade Merino, I think. Cascade 2020 Superwash Double K yarn. So I guess any merino yarn would work. But obviously when I do things for children, one has to think of those who are washing their clothes, so it's good to have stuff that you don't need to hand wash. So I might do that. So that's a nice yellow, but it could be work in a navy blue or a grey, all kinds of colours, or red. So I might find a child to do that one for. So that's what it picked in there. So the final project I want to show you is the tartan blanket. So you saw this earlier on. I think it was last week I started it. So this is from my a lady, young girl. She's getting married in July, and she is of Scottish heritage, the MacDonald clan. So I thought I'd do her and her husband, to be Travis, a blanket. So here we go. So there. So it's a tartary blanket using the mosaic technique of crochet. So it looks as though it's like a fair isle, but actually you're just using one colour for each row, which we had a look at that at the mosaic workshop earlier in the year. So I quite like this. The original, I tried to do a McDonald's tartan, but it's a bit boring. So it's just blue and green and red with a bit of white. And I started doing that, but it was just too blue and green and red. So what I've done is I've added a stripe of yellow or mustard to give it a bit of relief. And then I shall be using the white as a slip stitch or over various bits to make the lines. So you can see on here, there we go. So I'll be using the white to do those slip stitch, because otherwise you'd have too many balls of wool on the go. And we don't want to do that, do we? Because it gets in a mess and the cat chases the balls of wool and you throw it behind the sofa because you get fed up with it. So there we go. So those are my projects this week. And as it's a bit rainy, I think I might be doing something this afternoon, although the weather does look as though it's going to get better about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So I need to put up my cabbage cage in the allotment, otherwise I won't be able to put my cabbages out. And if I do without the cage, they'll get eaten by pigeons and the cabbage white butterfly. So we don't want that, do we? Anyway, so I might be doing some of that. You might be interested to know what I'm wearing here. I think some of you might have seen it before. This is a pattern I think I got from Inside Crochet a couple of years ago. And I used some hand-dyed yarn from a lady who lives in Bolton in Chester, so it's local, and she calls herself Under the English Sky. So if you want to see what she does, she has an Instagram site and she also has an Etsy site as well. So the wool's really nice. I think it's merino yarn, and she hand-dyes all the yarns inspired by the British countryside, and she has some really, really yummy colours. So I used, I think it was 4 balls, so 2 of each of the bluey ones and 2 of the green. So as it's hand dyed, it is a bit more expensive. However, if you're going to spend the time making something, then you might as well use really, really nice yarn. That's my view. Anyway, buy what you can afford. That's what I suggest. So it was really nice and it feels lovely, and it's just right for a day like today when it's a bit chilly, but it's not dead cold, and you need something to keep you a bit cosy. So I'm feeling quite cosy in my merino hand-dyed yarn. So that's me for today. Gosh, I've gone on a bit. It's 7 minutes and 43 seconds. I hope you're having a good week, and I will see you next week in the Lake District. Bye for now.